So, Hare Krishna, all of you. Welcome back to another session of Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. So, how are you all doing? And can somebody just sum up what we did yesterday in chapter number 9, the most confidential knowledge? So, Rashmi Mataji, you were there yesterday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you please sum up what we did?
Um, the most confidential knowledge. I I'm not sure, but it's like we were telling about opulence. God is all attracting. Uh, and then it was like. Uh, there are certain modes of reaching God. So one is Shravana, listening to the God, listening about Him. Then we should be around in association with His devotees. So then, depending on that, um, we should involve in devotional service to God. So that is like Sukham. So pleasure giving, joyful. We should perform everything in joyfully. For, in that joyful, pleasure giving mode. So um, then then there was something like we in bhakti bhav, it's like in bhakti bhav means that we should perform everything joyfully. Renouncing our senses means that will be like forcefully doing something. Like the other bhavas are like that, and bhakti bhav is we are doing it with pleasure. So it should be that way. And then then about God, you said like sun and sunlight. So it's like sunlight is not sun. Mm, so like God and the parts. So we sometimes think that everyone is like God. So it's not right. It's like sun and sunlight. So though sunlight is a part of sun, sunlight is not sun, something like that.
Hmm, hmm.
And then in bhakti bhav, it's like all everything is contradicting statements. Uh, like whatever the bhakts say in real world, it's contradicting.
Hmm.
Uh, so that way, all then even so you said about something like we should have knowledge, skill, with values. So knowledge and skill only will not help us. Uh, there should be value also in that, whatever we are doing.
Hmm.
And uh, then you said about Arjuna Acharya's story about Vahami Aham. Then being in association with devotees is also not full. We should even take instructions. We should be ready to take their instructions, whatever they are telling. Then we'll attain God. This much I have understood.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for summing up quite a lot. So, the last shloka of the ninth chapter, Manmana man bhavamag bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, after pay obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So what are the activities we have to undertake for this? How is Bhakti Yoga performed? Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, and offer your obeisances to me, worship me, and being completely absorbed in me will surely come to me. So this is the recommendation. Worship me, the Lord is saying. Offer obeisances to me. So like that, you will surely remember and come to me at the end of your life. Now we will start chapter number 10, the opulence of the absolute. So I had explained to you that the Lord has primarily 6 opulences: all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, all strength, all fame, and all renaissance. There are 6 to sum up. But these 6 are the broad categories. And out of these broad categories, we will understand now. So the Lord is going to tell us about what He is. Because in order to develop love, respect, worship for someone, we must first of all be convinced of that person's importance. So at the end of the 9th chapter, Krishna describes pure devotional service and how he reciprocates with his devotees. Most importantly, chapter 9 we have dealt with pure devotional service, not Mishra Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti means that still there are some desires left, either combined with Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Because even when you have gained knowledge, some amount of speculation is there. And also the desire to attain liberation is a desire after all. You have to get over even that. So in pure devotion, the devotee does not even desire his own liberation. What he desires is just happiness of God. So that is why the pure devotional service is a higher platform in yoga ladder than even Jnani or a person in knowledge. So shloka number 1. Shri Bhagavanu vacha bhuya eva mahabhavo shunomi paramavacha yatte ham priyamanya vakseshyami hita kamaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." So now the Lord is going to saying that what so far I have spoken, I am going to speak more in detail. So the word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parashar Muni, one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation is Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all the 6 opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashar Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in association of devotees, and that will enhance one's devotional service. So why is he speaking about his opulences? So that the conviction is increased. We normally like to worship people who are more powerful, famous, beautiful. It's a natural tendency. So here, even while worshipping Lord, we must know about his opulences. And by knowing the opulences, our conviction will be strengthened. Neither the host of demigods nor great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Even most exalted people in the material world, like the demigods, the sages, even they don't know about God. Why they don't know about God? Because no one can know God by just desiring to do so. For knowing God, the Lord has to agree to reveal himself. Only by his special mercy we can know about the secrets of the of Lord's powers. So here the Supreme Lord himself is telling Arjuna, this is that, I am this, I am that. If the Lord doesn't reveal this to his devotee, out of our own experimental or research work, we cannot know about Lord. We will keep on trying for millions and millions of years. In fact, we do not even know our planet completely. We don't know where, how many fishes are there more under the sea. There are certain areas of our planet which we have never visited. So, neither the host of demigods nor great sages know me. Why? Because the criteria is that Lord should agree to reveal himself. One should know then that scholarship is not qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation and they have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also it is clearly said that even the great demigods are not able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism. So here So Hare Krishna, I'm so sorry there was a sudden power cut and suddenly it got disconnected. We are back on the inverter. Uh, So, why we cannot speculate on our own? Because we have four shortcomings. And what are these four shortcomings? Number one, we have imperfect senses. Number two, we have propensity to cheat. Number three, we are disillusioned at some time or the other in our life. Number four, we all make mistakes. So these are the four shortcomings which are there even in demigods and great sages. So why we make mistakes is because our senses are primarily, if to speak, they are imperfect. Our senses are dependent on forces of nature to perform their actions. Like for example, we have eyes, but if it is dark, we cannot see. In darkness, we mistake a rope for a snake. We can't even see beyond the wall. We can only see a limited area which is in front of us. We can't see our back also. Like that, we cannot know what is going on, in other places. So we have imperfect vision, limited vision. Similarly, the ability to hear also. There is only a certain, degrees of sound vibrations we can hear, some decibels they say. So under that and over that we cannot hear. So our senses are imperfect. Whatever conclusion that we come about something is based on the perception of these gross senses we have. Beyond these we cannot see. Microscopic animals, they are there. Were they not there at the time of Arjuna? They were there, but we didn't know about it. But in our Shastra, there is a mention about crimin, or insects which are smaller than the smallest. We cannot see. So our senses are limited. Number two, we have propensity to cheat. Not accepting facts as they are is also cheating ourselves. Now here, that is what Lord says. Uh, that because we have this tendency to cheat, truth is not revealed to us properly because we don't want to accept truth. So we have this propensity to cheat, like lying. Sometimes we resort to hiding facts or distort facts. So this is a natural tendency we have. And three, we are disillusioned at some point or the other. So why we are disillusioned? Because our knowledge is imperfect. So that is why we are disillusioned at some point or confused at some point or the other. And four is we all make mistakes. So we make mistakes because we have imperfect senses. We are bound to make mistakes. So based on these imperfections, whatever knowledge we try to gather or speculate is also imperfect. Now we cannot see beyond a certain range, so we cannot conclude for sure what is happening in some other place. We need concrete, gross senses to analyze things. We are dependent on that. But Lord here is not like that. He's perfect. He doesn't have all these shortcomings. They say that Lord's senses are, he has millions of senses, not just 5 gross senses and 3 subtle senses. And with every sense, he can perform the activity of the other. For example, they say, he can eat with his eyes. They say, Prashadam, how do you know the Lord has tasted it? So the Lord is not limited and restricted like us. He is perfect in everything, his senses, his activities, his name, pastime, everything. It's perfect. He knows everything. So the information that we gather as per these four shortcomings is also imperfect. Actually, they say, this is an ascending way of gaining knowledge. Experimentation, failure, then again research work, then experimentation, then you come to a conclusion. So this kind of knowledge is not perfect. You research means again search what is already there. All the chemicals, all these flora, fauna, the human body, they study human body. Was human body not there? Were kidneys not there 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago? They were there. They were performing this work, their work. We didn't know about it. And just by knowing what God has created, we think we are very intelligent. In one lifetime, even the best of doctor cannot know all the parts of the body. He may specialize in kidneys, or somebody may specialize in heart. Even if goes on researching, he will not even know one kind of body perfectly. I have a doctor friend, nephrologist, and I asked her, see, you put a person on dialysis, but it is as good as natural kidneys. Does it perform the work like how kidneys perform day in and day out? She said, no, we cannot. What natural kidneys do, these machines cannot do. It's not as perfect as how kidneys function naturally. So many processes, and God is perfect at that. Even, animals, they have kidneys, liver, so many organs, and each and every one is working perfectly, unless and until, of course, some difficulty comes. Just imagine the finesse of God's creation, even in the material world. So what to speak of spiritual world? 3. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginless, as the supreme Lord of all worlds, he only, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. So, how does this perfection come in our life? By accepting God's powers. We don't accept. We try to always portray that we are controllers in some way and we are in charge of our situation. But here the Lord is telling, so for everybody to understand, now I am going to tell you. So here, but of those who actually trying to understand their spiritual situation, one who can come to understanding that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, the most successful, spiritually realized person. In that stage only, when one is fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions. So when a person is completely free of all sinful reaction, when can a person even leave his prescribed duties? When he is completely surrendered. He has accepted Krishna wholly as the cause of all causes. No one else can understand Krishna. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known, and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. By meditating on the Brahman, you can get inside Brahman, but you cannot know Brahman, you cannot know God. Only here in this shloka, undeluded, asamudha, hey, marteshu, among those subject to death, sarva papa, from all sinful reaction, is delivered. So who can be free from sinful reaction? A person who has accepted Supreme Lord as all. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction, because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. This is Ashashvatam Dukhalayam. It is declared by the Lord. So this auspicious, inauspicious that we are trying to calculate, or Arjuna is trying to calculate, is only on mental platform. If you are here in the material world, that is the most inauspicious thing. If at all one is intelligent, one will try to get out of this place. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on activities in Krishna consciousness, in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we at all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Such directions are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, or from a bona fide spiritual master, because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord. So clearly explained. There is nothing auspicious, inauspicious. Whenever you are progressing towards your identity, your constitutional position in relation to God, that is auspicious. If you are going in the reverse direction, there is a very nice example given in our class by our Siksha Guru, His Grace Mahashing Prabhuji. And he said, suppose a person is going, that there is one thing called, Maut Ka Kuan in exhibitions and all, fairs you see. There's a circular like wall built, and the car or the motorcycle is going inside it at a great speed. So our material activities are like that. At great speed, we are rotating in this well, and we think we are doing something great, but our destination is somewhere else and we don't know about it. So another example which was given to us was, I think, about a train. A person, he wants to go to Delhi, and he goes to the railway station and he sees that, the compartment is full, like there's not even place to stand there. And he wants to go to Delhi fast. So what he does, he thinks of a plan and he starts shouting, snake, 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 inside, outside the bogie. And everybody in the bogie, they climb down, because then we don't know where the snake is. So they ask him, where is the snake? Where is the snake? He says, I saw a snake going inside the bogie. And everybody gets down from the bogie. And this person is very happy. AC bogie is there. He goes inside and sleeps nicely. And he says, Ab main so jata hu, and tomorrow I will be in Delhi. It's an overnight journey. So the next day morning he gets up, and he's on a station. The bogie is on a station. He comes out, and he comes out and he sees. So he asks, which station is this? So he says, no, this is Hyderabad. He said, what? I climbed the train to go to Delhi. So the sweeper, there, she says, yeah, but yesterday night there was a snake in this bogie, so they left this bogie and went off to Delhi. So we are also like that. We do all kinds of things, development, this, that, scientific research, everything we do like an AC compartment. We make our body comfortable. But what's the use if it doesn't reach its destination? The destination of the soul is to get out of the material realm. So 4 and 5. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. So many different type of intellect, so many different type of intelligences, so many varieties of thought. Everything I am the source. So here Srila Prabhupada explains that asamoha, freedom from doubt and illusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant, when he understands the transcendental philosophy. So we have so many doubts in our mind. Doubt is compared to a demon because the doubt, it destroys your faith. So these doubts arise because we don't have the full conviction in the supremacy of the Lord. And a pure devotee has developed this conviction. That is true knowledge. It is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others, but that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken to us in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. So we were actually in that propensity to cheat is there in material world. So even to speak a small truth, it takes real, what you say, guts. But the devotees of the Lord, they are simple people. They are very simple. The qualities of all these devotees will be discussed in the coming chapters. Control of senses means that the senses should not be used in unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. So we sit here and we make, one imaginary pulao. This will happen. If that person does this, this will happen. This will go. Like how Arjuna was doing. If I fight, this will happen. That will happen. The truth is that nothing will happen. From millions of years, you have been in the same situation. Punarapi maranam, punarapi janamam. That is what will happen by our further entangling in desires here. Bhukta bhukta praliyate. The universe will come, it will be annihilated. Again, it will become, it will be annihilated. We will go in the sleeping mode. Again, things will be manifested. So this will go on. So what is auspicious about this? You are getting one body, then you are getting another body, then you are getting another body. One body you are comfortable, one body you are not so comfortable. In one body you get facilities to enjoy, in one body you don't get facilities to enjoy. And this is what we consider auspicious and inauspicious. So what is so good about that? The actual auspiciousness is knowing the Supreme. 6. The seven sages, and before them the four great sages and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind. All the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. So when the procreation is there, uh, before that, when Brahmaji is born, so Brahmaji is meditating. So where is Brahmaji born? He is born from the navel of uh, Karanodakshai Vishnu, who is lying in the causal ocean. Actually, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, not from the causal ocean, from the Karanodakshai Vishnu, all the universes they come out. And each and every universe first enters the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshai Vishnu's navel, one Brahma in each universe is born. So when Brahmaji of our universe was born, he saw that he is born. So he is also a Janma. He did not take birth like a man-woman combination and he was born in a womb. Brahmaji was born from Lord's navel, the lotus in the Lord's navel. And when he opens his eyes, he sees everything dark around him because the material realm is dark. The Lord has explained in the introduction, Srila Prabhupada has said that his abode is self-lit. There is no need of a sun or a moon there for light. They are self-effulgent. So everything is self-effulgent. It is so bright and full of light. But when Brahmaji opened his eyes, the entire material universe was dark. There was no sun also there. And in that darkness, he doesn't know what is there around him. Just imagine you are born, you can't see anything, you cannot experience anything. Just look around. Like that, so many years pass by. And Brahmaji doesn't have a clue. Who am I? From where I have come? And then he gets very frustrated because he's not experiencing any happiness in his heart. Happiness is the true nature. Eternity, knowledge, and bliss is the true nature of the soul. It wants happiness. It is food for the soul. And when he is not experiencing happiness, out of his previous spiritual this thing, he gets this idea to do austerity, penance. He says, at least before he wants to commit suicide, actually. He says, before I finish my life, let me meditate and do austerity. So he starts meditating, and Brahmaji meditates for 100 years. Of Brahmaji's 100 years. He meditates. And when he meditates, the Lord reveals himself in his heart. Nobody can know about the Lord based on their senses by reading books. He has to reveal himself. God has to agree to show himself to us. And he reveals himself to only those who are completely purified. So when Brahmaji is purified, he reveals. And then Brahmaji climbs down the lotus stalk and he comes down in the ocean, causal ocean, and he sees the Lord lying there. And from his navel, the stalk is coming out. So he knows this is my source. And Brahmaji has described the form of the Lord in Brahma Samhita from the tip of the toes to the hair of the Lord. How he looks, how are his eyes, how is his nose, how is his color, what jewelry he is wearing, what color clothes he wears. Like that, there is description. And then the Lord, he inspires Brahmaji to create the universe in a certain way. And from how he inspires just by his mind, he inspires Brahmaji from inside. Make this kind of a system, make the flora fauna like this, make humans like this, make animals like this. And based on that inspiration, Brahmaji then creates the universe. So how are they all born? From Brahma, from mind of the Lord. And first, when the procreation takes place, when Brahmaji creates everybody, the 7 sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me. So all these, they don't come out through uh, a male-female union like we see. They're all born in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is vividly explained, how from different parts of Brahmaji, from his ears, something comes out, from his eyes, somebody comes. Lord Shiva is born from his forehead. Like that, he created the Saptarishis and the 4 other rishis who are the 4 Kaumaras. But the 4 Kaumaras first, he creates them and they refuse to accept Grasta, ashram. They restrict their age at 5 years, the 4 Kaumaras, because they know when their bodies grow, they will develop sex desire and they will get entangled in their self-realized souls. Then again, he creates the Sapta Rishis, the 7 Rishis. And from 7 Rishis, these Manus are the in charge of, certain, almost 71 cycles, Chaturyuga. There's a calculation. They make one Manvanantra, and one Manu is in charge of a Manvanantra. And they in turn create population. So these Saptarishis are created, and from them the lineage, all kinds of population come out. 7, one who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotion service. Of this there is no doubt. So a person who is convinced, that is why knowing and realizing are 2 different things. If you have realized the Lord is the Supreme, you will not take a minute to be detached from the material world. The problem is we do not accept. All this particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in the loving devotional service of the Lord. One should not neglect to understand fully how great Krishna is, for by knowing the greatness of Krishna, one will be able to be fixed in sincere devotional service. Lord understands that. That's why he is revealing his opulences to Arjuna. I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So he's the source. Once somebody went to Srila Prabhupada, and usually when some Mahatmas are there, people ask some material question like what will happen in my future, how many children I will have, will I be rich or not. They think that Mahatma means astrologer. So, but you must know that Srila Prabhupada and also his guru, his divine grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, they were best astrologers of their time. They had complete knowledge of astrology. So he goes and he shows his hand to Srila Prabhupada. Please tell me what is there in my future. So Srila Prabhupada said, one thing is sure in your future. He said, what? He said, your death. You are going to die. So the best course of action for you is to just clap away these lines in service of Lord and everything will be fine. Just chant the holy name, clap your hands in a service, and all these lines will be taken care of. Because death is sure, and when it will come, nobody can predict. Even the most exalted astrologer cannot say. when we are going to die. Even when you see Janam Patri, it goes on for 200 years. It will continue because change of body is only a transitional phase. You will change this body, you will go into another body, that's all, and the cycle will go on. So here, 9. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another. So please note that shloka number 8 to 11 is also known as Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. These four shlokas, 8, 9, 10, and 11, is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. It is known as the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So we are going to recite these four shlokas and know in detail about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. 9. मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The thoughts of my devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to me, to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. 9 is done. Now we come to 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajitam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. 11. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tama nasyasami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shiny lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So the essence of Bhagavad Gita is explained in these four shlokas. That I am the cause of the spiritual and the material worlds, but my devotees, their minds are always dwelling in me. And I give them sufficient knowledge to get out of the darkness in the heart. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Everything else, whatever we do in the sphere of material activities, is but creating karma. That's all, except for these. So the Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating, for the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or achieve him simply by making mental effort. Men can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth Krishna pleased, and his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotees. That is why if you want to know about Krishna, you must go in association of devotees, be with them. When you observe their behavior, the way they are performing service and the way they love the Lord, you will acquire their qualities. 12 and 13. Arjuna said, now again Arjuna is asking a question. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest. So this is the Arjuna surrender now, total acceptance. About the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Deval and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Acceptance has come. Earlier he was treating the Lord as his friend. Then he accepted him as his guru in the second chapter. And now the final acceptance of him as God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has come. When this acceptance comes, then your knowledge is perfect. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is Smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and gets rid of this material bodies. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of pure. So this is the process, how devotional service works. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. By hearing, we develop faith, conviction. And after development of faith, conviction, we start engaging ourselves in the service of the Lord. When we serve the Lord in various ways, like the first thing happens is Anartha Nivritti. But this stage is the longest. Anartha Nivritti means that there are 6 anarthas: Kram, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. Kam means lusty desires. Krodh is anger. Lobh is greed. Moh is attachment. Mad is pride. And Matsar is envy. So these 6, the first thing that happens is that they disappear. All these anartha means which has no meaning actually. They are useless. Without a reason, they are creating havoc in our lives. They can just be weeded off. So these things, when you go in association of devotees, the first thing that happens is you get rid of these 6. Anartha nivritti. When you are rid of these, nishtha, determination to know the Lord and serve the Lord increases. Then ruchi, taste develops. After ruchi, asakti, attachment to God takes place. When attachment to God takes place, automatically detachment from material world happens. So asakti, then you develop bhav, feelings for God. And then comes prem, the last stage. So this whole process of devotional service is designed to develop love of God. And love of God will come only after 100% purification. Without that, nobody will engage in the service. 14. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Yes, finally accept it. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Finally, that acceptance has come in Arjuna. 16. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. And now Arjuna is asking him to tell him about all his opulences, how he is most opulent and how he is most powerful. 17. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? Man mana mad mad bhakto. So how my mind can be engaged always in you? What is the process? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? How should I remember? Can anybody, remember or put their mind on nothing? No. The mind needs an object to be attached to. Think of something. It cannot think of nothing. Some people, they have this, they consider everything to be zero and they meditate on the void, whereas it is technically not possible. 18. O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic powers of your opulence. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So, this is another qualification of a devotee. He's never tired of hearing about the Lord. You go on, and his ears want more. So, if you want to recognize a devotee, a person, whether he's sufficiently purified or not, you must see how much is interested in hearing about the Lord. If he's interested in hearing about the Lord, only then he will be interested in talking about the Lord. So this taste, it's a symptom of a devotee. Taste for hearing about the Lord unendingly without getting tired. Like we go and read Bhagavad Gita for half an hour, or we chant for a little while, or you start yawning. The taste is not there. So 19, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, because the Lord is unlimited. I cannot tell you about everything. Millions of years also, if Lord goes on, his powers will not end. So he is saying, I will tell you about only my prominent manifestations. O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. The first thing he tells Arjuna is that I am limitless. And also I am constantly growing. Brahman means big. Big, and it is getting bigger. It is unending. We cannot even anticipate. 20. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. So, number one, he is the cause of all causes. That he has already explained. 21. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. So these Adityas, I think they are 8 or so, not sure though. And of lights, I am the radiant sun. In light, I am the sun. So he is the best of everything. Whatever you see around yourself, the Lord is the best. Marichi, or Maruts, I am the Marichi. Marichi is actually a rishi. Maruts are sages. And Marichi is the father of Kashyap Muni. And the Devatas and the Rakshasas are all his children. Same father of the Devatas, the demigods, and the Rakshasas also. And Marichi is the grandfather. So, I mean, among the stars, I am the moon. Moon is a star and he's the brightest. So, in everything, he's the best. 22. Of the Vedas, I am the Sama Veda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force. So he's saying all. So how should you remember him? So why the Lord is revealing all this? Because everything that we see around us is in relation to Krishna. So that is why Lord is revealing all these opulences to Arjuna so that he can remember him constantly. So when you are reading the Samaveda, you are praying of the demigods, I am Indra. So he's telling him of the senses and mind, even when you are thinking about your own mind, speculating, then you must realize that even my mind, my remembrance and forgetfulness also comes from Krishna. He has said this in Bhagavad Gita. All this comes from me: memory, intelligence, remembrance, forgetfulness. 23. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. There are 11 Rudras, and Lord Shiva is the topmost. Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of Brahmaji. Brahmaji is his father. When the four Kaumaras, they refused to engage in, creating progeny and population. They said, we will take Ajivan Sannyas. The four Kaumaras, they restrict their age at 5 years by their yogic powers. Brahmaji gets very angry at them because the purpose of the creation is to create progeny. And out of anger, a red lump appears on his forehead. And from that, Lord Shiva is born. So Lord Shiva is one of the Rudras, and he is the topmost. Amongst Brahmajis, I think there are 11 Rudras. And Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am the fire. Vasus are 12 in number, I think. 12. And Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Meru Parvat, on which the entire universe is resting. 24. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. So in everything, whether it is material or spiritual, even amongst the gurus, he is Brahaspati, the best, topmost. Shukracharya is the gurus for the Rakshasas, and Brahaspati is the guru for the Devatas. So why Brahaspati is considered topmost? Because Brahaspati is actually performing the activity of the guru. Both are providing them material knowledge also, how to acquire kingdom and all. But at the same time, he is also giving them scriptural injunctions, whereas Shukracharya is only concerned with the material benefits of the Rakshasas. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies, I am the ocean. 25. O great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. Japa. So all the time they say sacrifice has to be performed, and which is the topmost sacrifice? chanting of the holy name. This is the they say, chanting of the holy names is bigger than Ashwamedha Yagya and big yagyas also. It's so powerful. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Amongst the immovable things, I am Himalayas. Top in everything, best in everything. Of the trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrartha, and among perfected beings, I am sage Kapila. So, sage Kapila, the Lord is considered as one of the incarnations of Lord Kapil Muni. So, he propounded, uh, the uh, Sankhya philosophy, and he gave this knowledge to his mother Devahuti. He was uh, liberated by birth and son of Kardam Muni and Devahuti, great devotees of the Lord. And by birth he was liberated, and he explained this great knowledge to his mother, who was very attached to material life. And after taking these instructions from him, she also engages herself in devotional service. Of horses, know me to be Uchchaishrava, produced during the churning of the ocean of nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. So, even in animals, he is the best. Even when you see a small worm, you must know that he is alive because of God's power, nothing else. So, where is the question of forgetting him? And this science the Lord has given to Arjuna because he is his devotee. He's telling him, how do you always remember me? By knowing my opulences. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Amongst the cows, I am the surbi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Even amongst animals, even amongst birds, he is the topmost. Everything is coming from him. 29. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta Seshana. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am the Garuda. So Prahlad Maharaj, so this argument philosophy that you attain Varna and Ashrama by birth is completely based on Guna Karma. It is not based on birth. So what is the meaning of Rakshasa or Asura is he does not uh, he also desires sense gratification. The demigods also desire sense gratification, but demigods do so under scriptural injunctions, whereas the demons or the Rakshasas don't follow any scriptural injunctions. But you see, Prahlad was born in the family of Rakshasas who don't follow any scriptural injunctions. And even amongst Rakshasas, he is considered topmost. By birth, he was a Rakshasa. But by spiritual elevation, he was the topmost devotee of the Lord. So our considerations in this world based on birth are only mental speculation. Everybody has inherited their specific nature due to the three modes of material nature or by attaching oneself to the spiritual nature. So amongst birds, I am Garuda. 31. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapon, I am Rama. Of the fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Here, when the Lord is speaking about Shastra, weapons, I am Ram. Of fishes, I am the shark. So, in everything, he is the best. Whatever is the topmost, he is there, good at that. These are some of the important qualities of Lord, not all. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. The conclusive truth, what conclusions we come to also materially are because of the Lord. Because he knows the past, present, future, and from him comes forgetful remembrance and knowledge. So whatever a person's inclination is, accordingly the Lord strengthens that conviction. If a person wants to be an atheist, he will show him that path where he can strengthen his conviction. If a person wants to be a good, maybe thief, the Lord will provide that also. He will provide an environment where he can become a good thief. And if a person wants to be a devotee, the Lord will definitely arrange for us. The condition is that we must desire to be a devotee, we must desire to serve the Lord. And that desire will be born with knowing about the Supreme and association. We will know about the Supreme only when we associate with devotees. Nobody else is going to teach that. In fact, in the temple, when I came newly, I learned so much just by observing devotees, how they serve, how they cook, how they clean, how they make garlands for Lord, and how they behave so lovingly, how they are so simple, how they are so attractive with the tilak, so many things. So when you develop this appreciation, only then you will want to serve the Lord. 33. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of all creators, I am Brahma. So here, even the material languages that we know, in that also he stopped mess. The ability to communicate, the ability to see, all these are provided to us by him. I am also inexhaustible time. Inexhaustible time because in the material world, everything perishes due to the influence of the time. In fact, many devotees, they are waiting for their death because they say at that time, if you are pure, you can see the God for that fraction of a moment when you die. That is perfection of life. In fact, one of our teachers, Prashanta Devi Dasi, who is the head of VIHE, she was telling us that many people, they come to Vrindavan to die. Because why they go to these holy places to die? So that the environment is such that they constantly can remember God. But out of those who die there, many, they cannot remember God. We think that being going to a holy place will become spiritually attracted to God. In fact, association of devotees is much. In fact, you go to a holy place so that you can associate with devotees. You can feel their love, you can feel their dedication towards God. That is why we must go to holy place, because devotees visit holy place and you can associate and have knowledge of the Supreme. That is why you must go. So she was saying an Italian boy had come He was a devotee, 33-year-old. He had cancer and he knew that he's going to die. So the last few days of his life, he wanted to spend in association of devotees. And as a norm from the temple, when somebody is passing away, all the devotees, they go and visit such people so that they can remember. They chant and they put tulsi patra in their mouth and all, and so that they can remember the Lord at the time of death. And these people, they said, when we were chanting and all that, this person, just before he departed, he was looking in the corner of the room and he said in Italian, so beautiful. He saw the Lord. So she said, we don't know how purified one is of material desire. We really don't know. And only at the time of death we know that this person who had come to take our association actually gave us association and went. He taught us how to die. So, of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. 36, I am also the gambling of chiefs. And of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory. I am adventure. I am the strength of the strong. Which sphere is left without him? So gambling of cheats. See, there are 64 kala sampoon, they say, Actually, the difference between the Rama avatar and Krishna avatar, why Krishna avatar is considered so, the topmost. There are so many avatars of the Lord in which he displays all his kalas, his opulences, kala or qualities actually. So even in Ram avatar, only 62 qualities are displayed, exhibited. In Krishna avatar, all the 64 qualities are displayed or exhibited. And what are these two extra qualities which Lord has? Chal, kapat. These are also qualities, but he has that also in full. I am also the gambling of cheats. Even if you consider that cheating, I am the best. No one is as good as me. And of the splendid, I am splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. So whenever you see a strong person, you must know this strength, beauty, everything that this person has come to him by God. No one else. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and amongst the thinkers, I am Usana. So he's everything. He's everything. Rishni is a dynasty, and Vasudev, he is born in the Rishni dynasty. Amongst the means of suppressing lawness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. So, so many ways to remember God. And here also the Lord, he's saying that only a few of his opulences, he's saying the important ones. 39. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. So when Hiranyakashipu says to Prahlad Maharaj, your Lord is there in, he says, my Lord is everything. And he's angered to no end. And he says, is he there in, he says he's there in every atom. So he says, is he there in this pillar? Because mentally blocked he is, he cannot anticipate how God can be there even in living, non-moving things. And he says, yes, he's there. He's so convinced, Prahlad. and out he bangs the pillar and out comes nourishing day. It is just that we are not convinced. 40. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestation. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So these are just tip of the iceberg that I've spoken to you about. So actually I'm endless, Ananta. 41. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring but a spark of my splendor. They spring from but a spark of my splendor. All this power, millions of universes. Just imagine how many pores are there on a body. And from Karunodakshay, Vishnu's breathing, millions of universes spring out. And when he breathes in, they are annihilated. So just imagine, because our small mind cannot anticipate all this, we don't accept him. 42. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. It's not that the Lord is, with great difficulty, sweating, frowning, and supporting the universe. Just one spark, speck is enough. So they say there is a term used for Lord that, I'm not getting that term. I've been trying to think about that. That, just by desiring, Lord has things done. He doesn't have to work hard, or, just by desiring. uh, that is why, even devotees have that quality, Vancha Kalpataru. Just by desiring, the devotees achieve, they get this quality of Lord. So here, the Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as Super Soul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Super Soul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to Supreme Personality of Godhead or the supreme goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein, because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only a part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is the Asamardhava, which means that no one is superior to him, that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with the demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. We see in many of the stories in the Puranas, whenever there is a problem, all the demigods, they go to the causal ocean where Lord Vishnu is lying on the serpent with Mata Lakshmi pressing his feet. It's a common practice. So why they go there? Because they don't have any solution. Sometimes they face severe problems. and they go there because they know that he is the supreme. So here, therefore, they are always situated in transcendental position. The devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. That is why, that is the way of pure devotional service, how one can attain the highest devotional perfection in us of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on the chapter by saying, Yat Shakti Lesa Suradya Bhavanti Ati Ugra Tejasa Yad Amshena Dhritam Vishwam Sa Krishno Dadami Ruchyate. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. And by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of opulence of the Absolute. So this is how one must fix one's mind on Krishna. Remember him when seeing everything around us. He is the cause of all causes that can be. And surrender unto him. Accept him as the Supreme, pay obeisances to him, worship him, and engage in his devotional service. So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, to get us to that stage. All the Vedas, they the Vedanta Sutra means Ved Ant, end of Vedas, This was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva to tell us what is the purpose of all the knowledge in the Vedas. And Bhagavad Gita is that. It is accepted by all acharyas is to be the topmost literature. So in Kali Yuga, we don't have a very long life. Like earlier people used to live for thousands of years. We don't have the time even to go through the Vedas completely. They are so huge. There is information about so many things. But we have time to, know the crux of all these Vedas and realize God. That is why Bhagavad Gita is so important. And the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita is there in chapter 10. This is a science. Why it's a science? Anybody who takes to this process will definitely get a certain result. It is so programmed. So the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita gives us the essence. Why we are doing so much studying, why we are researching, just so that we can engage, we can know our relationship and engage in the service accordingly. A selfish person can never engage in service because his own selfish ends will come. Arey, I'm wasting time. Better I do something for myself. I'm not. Service is a selfless practice which comes only after sufficient purification. So if we see somebody inclined in service and who's enjoying doing service, we must understand that this person is sufficiently purified. So we come to the end of this class today. Any questions or comments, your realizations?
Mataji, after chapter, I don't think so. I have any words on because Krishna is Sarva Vyapta and he's a Trikaldarshan. That's all after hearing this 10th chapter.
Hmm.
Fully understood, like everything is a God only. And all the thing what happens to us, and it's in food, it's in talk, it's in thoughts, everywhere is the Krishna, the Lord Supreme God. So beautifully explained in this chapter.
Yeah, even I enjoyed it very much when I came to know, that everything is Krishna. So that is the purpose of this chapter, for us to know that all the things that we put our effort into, where are we putting it? Is it going to help us or not? So it's a beautiful chapter, no doubt.
Yeah. And all our suffering is the cause of that only. Like some people, you just like give an example of that boy, he suffering from some disease, and then he died of. So, why this disease came to that particular human being? It's from some suffering or some karma thing. What it is?
Mataji, actually, this process is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that there are four stages of, this karma fructifying. It is born of ignorance of the self. First of all, because of ignorance, we come to the material world. The four stages are Bij, Koot, Prarabdha, Aprarabdha. So Bij is the seed for desiring to enjoy. Seed stage. Koot is that seed is just, ready to sprout. Koot. The facilities are being created. And Prarabdha means now the reaction has started. That is the present. We are facing that misery. And aprarabdha is like, again, future, where future in the sense which has not yet ripened, the seed is not yet done. So these are the four stages. So what we are going through is the seed which has matured and has sprouted. That is our prarabdha. Even when we are in devotional service, this process cannot be reversed. Apart from the prarabdha, because the process has already begun. The material nature is such. But apart from that, the bij, koot, aprarabdha, they are all nullified. This is explained by the Acharya, except for prarabdha. Because we don't know, from so many millions of births, we are doing so many activities, and which activities reaction which we are facing now, we don't know. But the whole point is that the devotees, though they are suffering, they don't feel the suffering. It's like anesthesia. Now this boy, he must be in great pain at the time of death, 33, 34-year-old boy. But he was experiencing joy. Even they say, when you die, the pain is equal to stings of 1,000 scorpions. That painful death is, especially for the materialist. But for the devotees, it becomes a joyful affair just by meditating on Krishna. That is the difference. It's not that devotees don't have problems in their life. It's just that they don't experience that despair or grief because they are always attached to Krishna. So that's how it is, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any more questions or comments? Rohini Mataji has shared her realization. Archana Mataji, you have something to share?
No, Mataji. It's all clear for today.
So we must remember Krishna in everything that we see.
Right.
All energies are there because of him. And I think that was the message.
But from today's lesson, I feel like the six enemies of mind topic is more interesting and worth learning. That Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Madan, Matsarya. So once when we realize that these six things should be avoided in order to have good life, like happiness in our life. So we have to avoid this six things. So
Yes, yes, Anarthas. There's no meaning to it. See, even if you have, say, 6 houses, you can sleep in only one. Can you sleep in 6 houses at the same time?
no, Mataji.
But we are trying to acquire it because to satisfy our. Actually, anything that we, you know, uh, aspire for more than what we need is a waste of time.
Right.
Because you are making effort for something which you do not need. So isn't that foolishness? And
True.
especially when you work hard, like I often tell my children, if you are working very hard to buy something just because you desire to buy it, but you don't need, you are working hard to give money to the person who has made that thing. Actually, there is a very nice story about this. Once there was a very rich man and he had a very beautiful wife, very beautiful wife. And he had many cars, luxurious cars, property and all. And he had a driver also. And one fine day, this rich man dies. And his wife gets married to the driver after he dies. So the driver tells this lady, I never thought that my boss was working so hard for me. He gave everything to me and went away. And the person who was working so hard, he was thinking he will enjoy the fruits of his labor. Wasn't that rich person working so hard, getting all that money, thinking that he will enjoy it? And who enjoyed it ultimately? His driver. So this precious human life, definitely you have to earn money for your needs. And need is a very relative term actually. But as per one's own, till what level you can remain calm and satisfied, that much you work. Give the other time to your self-realization. Make some time. So, like that, we must program our life so that along with the material activities, we also have time for our self-realization, without which everything is like that train ka bogi on one station itself. AC is there, facilities there, light is there, very comfortable inside, you have space there. But if it is still on the station, what's the use? You're going round and round that well in the same place, not reaching your destination. So one must have a balance.
Right, Mataji.
Yeah. So I hope that this class will give you more clarity in life. So
Definitely,
any
Mata.
more, yeah, any more questions or
No,
realizations,
no
Mataji?
question, Mataji, no question. But today it was so interesting that I just was laughing. Ki the person who was going to catch the train, I said, okay, snake, snake. I will only get the seat.
Yeah, that is what selfishness does to us. This is how the world is.
Hyderabad.
Yes. So that is the crux. So wisdom is very different from knowledge.
Right. This is agree. That is realized very practical, and
Hmm.
knowledge is just theory, deep theory, and conflict of thoughts, nothing else.
Nothing else. You are speculating, you are yourself spinning a cobweb around yourself. And you can't see anything clearly. So this mental concoction, it leads you nowhere. And trying to be very smart materially also doesn't help. It doesn't help. So one must know the true purpose of life and engage accordingly. Make some time, more time actually. As you grow older, you must start making more time so that you can remember him at the time of your death. If the whole life you spend, in other activities, you will remember that. You'll not remember Krishna at the time of your death. So thank you all so much
Thank you.
for your inputs and hearing me. So we will go to chapter number 11 tomorrow. Till then, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuba eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnav jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.